The only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. Albert Schweitzer. Why know Chesed? Why it changes everything. To know Chesed is to keep the soul alive in a world where the survival of the body is no longer enough. The world is shaking. At the borders, tension, inside, anxiety, around, expectations, comparisons, pressure. And somewhere between it all, a quiet, almost forgotten question still lives. Can I simply be? Without a mask, without tension, without proving anything. It is here that Chesed becomes a revelation, because it answers, yes, you are already worthy, already accepted, already loved. When fear surrounds you, Chesed says, I do not demand. I give when your soul wants to hide. It whispers, you may simply be. This is not weakness. It is a higher strength, the kind that does not break but heals. Chesed is a spiritual shelter where no one asks you to be anything other than alive, real, and exactly as you are. Every person has a moment when they ask themselves, if I do nothing, will I still be loved? The world often replies, earn it, prove it, fit in. But somewhere deep within, we remember a different answer. An answer that does not demand, but comforts. That is Chesed, divine mercy, a great generosity that builds the world not through judgment, but through trust. To know Chesed is to remember that love can be the first impulse, not the reward for suffering. This is not just philosophy. It is the foundation of true connection, of self-acceptance, of a life where you no longer have to be afraid to exist. There is something in the fabric of existence that does not ask, are you worthy? It simply gives. It simply shines, like the sun, shining on all, regardless of who they are or what they've done. There is a yes that comes before any question, a light that shines not because it is earned, but because it is its nature to shine. This is the energy of Chesed, the first movement of love, not romantic, not conditional, not human in origin, but divine in essence. It is the response to your very being. You exist, and that is enough. It comes before logic, before judgment, before the need to understand or deserve. Before justice, there is mercy. Before balance, there is expansion. Chesed is sacred overflow, an ocean before the riverbanks were formed. In the system of the Sefirot, Chesed follows strict and discerning Bina, and it seems to say, now, allow yourself to be loved. Imagine the ocean. It does not ask if a drop deserves to belong. It simply receives. Chesed is the force that creates the world not through conditions, but through trust. The world does not begin with law. It begins with great generosity. Generosity is not an action. It is a frequency, a state of being in which separation dissolves. When you give from Chesed, you're not giving to someone. You are giving as the universe itself. Like a star does not choose who is worthy of its light, it simply shines. And this frequency doesn't seek recognition. It gives and lets go of the need to be seen. True generosity is not a performance. It is a state, a natural overflow that begins when the fear of not having enough disappears. When you are on this frequency, you don't give out a duty or because you're supposed to. You give because you are full, and that fullness longs to flow outward, like a light that cannot help but shine. The energy of Chesed does not divide the world into me and others. You feel yourself as part of the living current, like a river moving through the fields, not asking who deserves water, but nourishing everything it touches. This is generosity without condition, without the need for thanks, without the desire to be good. The world has taught us to fear giving. What if it doesn't come back? What if I'm used? What if I'm emptied? But Chesed says, when you give from wholeness, you don't lose, you expand. Chesed is a soft, free gift in which there is no tension, only flow. Let us imagine this world Hist, the land where you are not asked to be someone else. Let us try to imagine this world in symbols we know. Chesed is a land of mercy, spread between trust and silence. The beings who live here do not seek your attention. They do not come to test you, they simply exist, and by their presence alone they confirm you may be silver lions, not predators, but guardians of dignity. Their gaze says, I see you, I do not judge. Golden antlered deer walking over water without leaving a trace. If you meet their eyes, guilt disappears. Airborne creatures like birds woven of light. They don't touch you with bodies, but with vibration, soft, like forgiveness. Figures in robes of light and mist, faceless but radiant with unconditional care. You do not fear them. You know, they came not for something, but with something. They don't speak, but you understand. They don't move toward you, but you feel them close to your heart. How to make contact. You don't ask, you don't summon, you allow. In Chesed, you don't have to be pure or strong or ready. You simply have to be real. Contact with this world happens through quiet consent. I will no longer shrink. I will no longer hide my longing to be loved. I am open. I feel. I receive the beings of Chesed come not to the strong, but to the warm. Not to those who know, but to those who are willing not to know, and still be loved. The landscape of Chesed is generosity made form. Endless openness, light without source. When you enter, you are met by soft valleys where the ground reshapes itself beneath your steps, slow waters flowing not toward anything, but through everything, white trees pulsing with kindness, as if their roots remember every soul who ever felt unworthy, a sky the color of milky gold, sunless, yet luminous from within every particle of space. This is a place where nothing is sharp, where all things are round, flowing, and receptive. You can enter this world at any moment if your silence becomes just a little deeper than your fear. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself at the base of a white tree. Beside you, a still pool of water holding the light. Warmth begins to spread through your body, not as something external, but as something returning. And then say, aloud or silently, I step into a space where nothing needs to be proven, where I am already accepted, already blessed, already worthy. I allow myself to be in this world, and allow this world to be in me. You will not hear words, but you will feel a silence in which you are entirely held. You carry Chesed within you, and each time you release fear, you return home. Chesed becomes distorted when we try to control it. We think, if I give enough, I will be loved. If I receive too much, I'll owe something. If I open up, I'll be hurt. But these are not truths. They are scars. Chesed does not bargain. It does not manipulate. Its energy is pure. And that is precisely why it is so easy to distort, because giving is beautiful. And behind beauty, pain can easily hide. We say, if I'm generous, I'll finally be loved. And we begin to give, not from fullness, but to earn attention. But that is not Chesed. That is the fear of being forgotten. We think, if I receive too much, I'll be indebted. So we close ourselves to help, just to owe no one anything. But that's not freedom. It's a contract with fear. We feel, if I open my heart, I'll be wounded again. So we lock it up, just in case. But the lock doesn't distinguish between pain and light. It blocks both. Chesed does not ask for balance. It does not measure what you've returned. It simply flows. Like a spring that keeps running, even if someone doubts they are worthy of its water. To return to Chesed is to practice sacred trust. Sometimes it feels like the heart has shut for good. Too much pain, too many attempts. And yet, the flow hasn't gone. It waits. It doesn't rush. It simply gives you the space to return to trust. Trust in your own enoughness. Trust in the kindness of the moment. Trust in a world that still remembers how to give without taking. Not naivete, but a deeper knowing that you are part of something good. That the world knows how to offer, not just demand. Chesed is not restored through effort, but through permission. Through a soft, inward whisper. I choose to open again. Not for everyone, not all at once, not entirely, but for life, for light, for the breath to become a bridge again instead of a barricade. Close your eyes, feel your breath, let it become a bridge, and say, even silently, I am open, I receive, I bless. This is not an affirmation, it is a password, a key back to yourself. To the state where you are no longer fighting the flow, but becoming part of it. This is how the stream returns. We were taught that the world is built on rules, on effort, on limits, on strict if-then conditions. If you earn it, you'll receive. If you prove yourself, you'll be accepted. If you endure, you'll be rewarded. But there is another way, ancient as creation itself, and it begins with a simple, powerful yes. Chesed is that yes. It doesn't demand, it invites. This is not naivety. It is a conscious foundation. Chesed is not about weakness. It is the ground on which light can live. When you live from Chesed, you stop fearing lack. You no longer hide your energy. You don't save your kindness for hard times. You become a source, one that helps others remember that goodness is the norm, not the exception. A world built on Chesed is not a utopia. It is a possible reality, and it begins with you, with your heart that says, I will not close, I will give, and in this lies my strength. Let the world begin again, through your generosity. Let it be built not on fear, but on offering.